Throw Gang, we are joined by the king of kindness, the prince of pep talks. He's not a Gondelman, he's a Jondal, man. The sultan of stand-up. This man absolutely sprints on Duncan, the Baron Admiral of Ben Affleck. His niceness is going nuclear. The head honcho of humility, the late-night TV MVP, the Showtime shaman, ruler of the writer's room, Don Dada of the DNM P&L, comedies, Virgil Abloh, multi-hyphenate, podcast host, stand-up comedian, published author, and writer, and co-executive producer of Jesus and Marrow, Josh Gondelman.
Thank you. I feel amazing. I've never had an intro of that caliber before.
Lawrence, take over for a second. I need a cigarette.
Yeah, I'll say, Josh, I don't think anyone's actually gotten an intro of that caliber, even on this show, where like that is an established bit that we do. That's the longest one ever, which proves that you really are a Swiss Army knife. Like, what can't you do? Apparently, according to James, at least. Yeah,
that's our first question, Josh. What can't you do?
Oh, yeah, right. God, well, how long do we have?
An hour and 45 minutes. Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll be enough time to get through. Like that, we'll get a nice primer on what I'm bad at.
Right. Which I'm assuming is also a laundry list as long as the list of what you're good at. Right?
So much longer. It's like fixing. Like if we're just going by the things I can't fix or prepare, like anything that you would expect a man in 1955 to do, that's off the table. Like
you were born in the right year.
Any Jew, to be totally frank, like myself included.
My dad, though, is a construction Jew. So,
rare breed.
The rare construction Jew. And he very handy around the house, but sometimes would get a little over his skis where he'd be like, I'm going to fix the toilet. And my mom would be like, that's not what your job is even. Like, this is just you. You're just calling, you're like, Babe Ruthing it, like pointing to the toilet.
Right.
Like,
don't call your own shot on a blocked up shitter. You know what I'm
saying?
Your
shit. Call your shit.
First rule.
Don't call your shit. Yeah.
Josh, the first thing we want to do is a fit check where you are going to walk the audience at home through the totality of your outfit, sir. The choice for you is, do you want to start top down or bottom up?
I'm going bottom up. I'm not a cop. I know the show.
Thank God. All right. See, ladies and gentlemen, he did his fucking research.
He's from Boston, but he's not a co-op.
Yeah. Are you a rat? Are you a rat or are you a cop?
Are you a rat guy? No, I'm not a cop. I forget. I feel like everyone in that movie except Jack Nicholson alternately is a cop and says they're not a cop, or isn't a cop and says they are.
But he's a cop. He's a narc, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Well, everybody is a cop besides Jack Nicholson, who's just a criminal.
He's a rat. And
right.
a rat.
He's neither. No. Well, what? Right. You think he's neither a rat nor a cop, but he turns out to be a rat all along.
He's a fucking rat.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen The Departed.
And then at the end, there's a literal rat.
There's a little fucking rat.
It's gonna blow your mind.
And people feel. How do you feel about that? Some people love that, and some people like the guy.
It's subtle. It's very subtle.
Became like subtle. It's very subtle from the master of subtle symbolism, Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese.
Body.
Score subtles. Yeah, there it is. Sure. Okay. What's on the feet, Josh? As a sneakerhead?
I try to put on sneakers for like podcasts and work calls and stuff to like feel like
look good, play good. And so I'm wearing
Nike Air Force One like Flyknit mids, the like Fruity Pebbles colorway.
Okay. All right.
Which are very fun, very silly. I've got socks.
Kicks looking like a child's breakest.
You
know what I'm saying?
Kicks looking like kicks.
Yeah. With berries.
Yeah. You need that pop of color. You can't just go plain.
Actually, no. Can you take them off? Can you show it to us? Just the boys.
For sure.
Not for the audience, but just like, I would love to see. That is stupid fruity swag. Yeah. Those are like those are like the first generation, Flyknit forces that drop. That's like that's an older sneaker
from like
you're true to this, not new to this.
15, 16, maybe like five years ago or so. And I love them. And I have too many shoes, so I like rotate them in and out, but I try to like wear everything.
Right. Wear your fucking sneakers, ladies and gentlemen.
But I don't wear them 300 days a year, so they're in decent shape even though they're a few years old.
How many sneakers would you estimate that you own? I don't think James has this in the run show, but let's just
it's got to be like close to 50, 50 pairs.
That's pretty. You're putting up some. Those are solid numbers. Those are not rookie numbers.
I went on kind of a tear like the last month. Like just to feel something.
Retail
I would go
therapy.
on StockX. Yeah. I'd go on StockX and be like, oh, I won an auction. I would feel like I was like actually like
I'm a winner.
Yeah. I win. I win losing $200 and getting
Right, sure, exactly.
shoes.
Thank you for the privilege to buy these sneakers.
Yeah, I'm such a fucking mark.
Dude. Well, you and every other sneaker copper in the world,
Right.
ourselves included. Like, you can't escape it. At this point.
As a renowned sneakerhead, what do you think of the Jordan Dior's at the inauguration today?
Yeah,
I thought those
one
terrific.
of us,
Very
one
fun.
of us.
Yeah, just like you love to see John's in a place of honor.
But that was Kamala Harris's niece's husband.
Yeah,
I think
Kamala,
so.
excuse me.
Yes,
and that dude, like, just basically, how much are those going for on StockX? Like 25 G's.
I think like 10 to 15.
Lit the money on fire like the fucking Joker. Like, even if it's a special occasion, or maybe they're worth more now because they're like a historic artifact or piece of memorabilia, right? Actually, damn, Galaxy Brain, that might have been the smartest.
He was
maybe he was seated.
Yeah, maybe. Oh,
by
you
StockX.
You think it's a psyop by Kim Jones?
By StockX, by that guy in Detroit.
Oh, Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. So, Josh, moving. What kind of socks do we have with the stupid
I've
free
got
swag
a
flyness?
blue and white. It kind of looks like a cloudy sky tie dye. Philip Wang, I believe it's pronounced sock. Which
Philip Wang.
It's
like you're combining Philip Lim and
Alexander Wang.
Alexander Wang.
It's an
which is racist.
HUANG. And it was like
neither.
Instagram. It was again, because I'm a mark. It was like over the summer. I was like, I gotta up my sock game. I'm doing too many like ankle height just from the Gap. And so I as I thought that, the ad appeared on Instagram, and I was like, wow.
And you bought off the timeline.
Bought off the timeline.
Damn.
And
Are you a frequent timeline copper?
Occasional. This year, never.
When you're feeling extra depressed.
Yeah. Well, this year, I feel like the timeline has gotten more keyed in because my life is all timeline now, right? Like I don't go anywhere. So it's just like I only live on the timeline.
Well, the algorithm is getting smarter, right? It's putting in more work in the film room to study you through your microphone and
what's your screen time, Josh? Because you're a prolific tweeter.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Is it 24? Is it 24 hours?
24/7. They're like your screen time holding steady. 24/7.
Do you actually look?
It's down 0% from last week. It's still 24 hours.
Are you worried to look, or do you know exactly like
mine is like it's goes down a little bit because I'm on my laptop a bunch, but like the worst days are when
bigger screen.
Bigger screen. Yeah. Which should count for more screen time because it's just the total surface area of screen.
It's a 4x, right? Like it's exponential at that point. Okay. Yeah. Damn.
But I think it's like between 6 and 7 hours lately.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Which is not too bad. The worst are when back in the day when you could go places and I would go on a plane, we'd be like 8-9 hours because I would just like scroll the whole time or like do crosswords on my phone, whatever. But it's like 6.5 maybe lately.
Okay.
Which is
pretty healthy.
And you spend how many hours copping socks and various things served to you? Like 4 of the 7?
Yeah. 4 hours of sock copping and then 2.5 hours tweeting. Just the saddest man.
That's not a bad. I mean, yeah, right. The saddest man alive, ladies and gentlemen, but also pretty solid day in the late stage capitalism dystopian fuck shit that we live in. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm like I feel really enmeshed in capitalism. Just fully integrated into it.
That's all we have.
So, I mean, that's what this show is. That's what this show is about. The show is being a slave to consumerism. So
I'm there with you. This is
exactly
again ancient Egypt here,
right? What's the pants moving on up?
Pants
in the outfit?
This is just like, I feel like this is going to be one of the most washed top to bottom or bottom to top fits. I've got like a Gap skinny jean on. I'm one of those Brooklyn dudes who dresses like a cake pop, just like skinny jean on the leg and then kind of round Frosty the Snowman torso.
Sure.
You've seen the guys.
Yeah, whatever the opposite of the Vitruvian Man is, that's you. Like the absolute least attractive silhouette, the opposite of the golden ratio or whatever. Just cake pop.
It's just like, it's very circular. Legs decent. Jeans skinny, slim silhouette on the leg, and then just
are your legs your best physical quality that you're like most that make
For
you feel
sure.
the best about
Yeah,
yourself?
no doubt.
Is that why you got into sneakers, to draw the eye down?
Down to the
Yeah.
just like in all my sneakers, I use whiteout and I put a little up arrow that's like just a little up, just like look a little up. Check out these calves.
Yeah,
that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Hey, keep your eyes here on my calves. On my calves.
Eyes are up here.
Eyes down here, ladies.
Please.
So what's the wash? Is it like a blue jean? Is it a dad
It's a
jean?
blue
Is it,
jean.
are they
Oh,
black?
these are my most dad jeans too. Cause they fit me right. And I've been doing all my shopping online for the last year. So like when I need new jeans, I'm not ready to experiment. And so I've got like the stretch a little bit in them. And so I know what size I am and I get them. So I got them in a few different washes. These are like a mid blue jean. So we're between like a dark wash and like a real light wash. And I know because I have all three.
you have the full spectrum.
The full gradient.
The gradient.
I got blue. I got the other blue
rainbow. Yeah, it's like a fucking cop flag. I feel so bad.
Yeah, it's the Biv. It's the Biv end of the Roy G. Biv spectrum.
It's the NYP PD flag during Pride. That's basically what it is.
The gay cop flag. It's
exactly
instead of
the gay blue line,
the thin blue rainbow.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Somewhere there.
It's not even Biv. It's buh. It's like the beginning of the chorus of Bad to the Bone. That's the pants that I have.
Which ironically, all cops, no matter what sexuality you are, they
Bad
love
to the
that
bone.
Song. That's a big one.
Song.
They love that shit.
Every police officer is like, if that doctor touches my ass, I'm gonna slap him in the face.
It's ACABTTB. All cops are bad to the bone.
Yeah, baby. All cops are bad to the bone. Yeah, dude.
That's their song. That's their song.
Yeah, that's ours. And then what's this? I can see like a bleached. It looks like a bleached thermal.
So this is the tie dye. It's my friend did it. My friend Anna Roisman, who does has started doing like some custom tie dye stuff, and it's I think it's just like a Hanes, real nice soft sweatshirt. I like the fit on it a lot. It makes me feel like a $1 million cake pop when I wear it.
Right.
One of those Magnolia Bakery ones.
Yeah.
Or like with gold flake, that a real housewife would get for her daughter's sweet 16. Just that cake pop with
more
the gold
fondant
flake.
than cake.
Flake.
Yeah. I would win a TV competition, but then you'd bite into me and be like, "What the fuck?"
This tastes like absolute dog shit.
Yeah. Ugh. This tastes like if someone put sugar through the washing machine.
Yeah, with a pair of Gap jeans.
Glasses.
Let's continue. Plug your friend. Let's talk more about
Anna
your
Ritzman.
friend.
Yeah, so she's been doing like sweatshirts, sweatpants, and it's like one of those. Just Hanes sweatshirt, real nice, real comfy. Decent,
and she like cut. Bleach. It's like a bleached thing, right?
Yeah, so it's black. Hold on, let me stand up so you can see like the.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, do a little twirl for us, sweetheart.
Yeah, this is podcasting at its finest.
Yeah. Oh, and also, great wash on the jeans. I will say, that's you nailed it. Basically, that's a bullseye. Right there. Yeah. Josh was just shaking his little tushy for us when he did that. Okay, spectacles. Spectacles. Right. You are a spectacles guy.
I'm a spectacles guy. Yeah.
Do you? What is this? The signature model? Yeah, Specsman.
These are Specsman. Yes, thank you. These are just Warby Parker. I refresh them once a year. I have 2 pairs now. But again, it's one of those things where like I should probably
get a nicer frame because you wear glasses every day. Yes,
I do wear glasses.
Treat yourself, dude. That's the thing. If you wear them, think about the cost per wear. This is a huge like fucking
Strong Fits 101.
Yeah, this is a John's Enthusiast 101 thing. Cost per wear, baby. If it's like shoes, it's like watches, it's like a wallet, it's shades, glasses, whatever. You're gonna wear them every day, dude. Get the best of the best. And then when you actually think about it, it's like, okay, it's like $1 a day.
Yeah,
right.
I think I should. But it's been a year since I've gone in for an exam even. And I just had to. So I need a new prescription because I've just been going phone to computer to TV for a year.
Sure.
That's
you got that. You must have got that good Showtime vision plan. No.
Yeah. I think I'm taken care of. I think it'll be okay.
But all right. Can we have some?
The idea of going.
Can we have some,
into-
please?
Yeah, you
Can I have a crumb of healthcare, sir?
let me hold some health insurance.
Please. Yeah, we're self-employed in the worst possible way, which is that we're insured through the state on like the bare minimum Fidelis Silver plan or whatever.
What's the metal below bronze? Because that's what I'm on.
whatever is. Yeah, I think. I think
it's tinfoil.
Yeah, I would say foil basically or tin. Yeah,
I'm on Saran wrap. I'm on that Emblem Health Saran wrap.
We're on that good aluminum plan. You know what I'm saying? So Warby Parker prescription in the wind. Who's to know? You should use that as an excuse to
I think I should
upgrade
use it to
yourself,
upgrade,
baby.
for sure. But it's one of those things too where I'm like, I don't want to go and like have somebody up in my face and I'm wearing a mask and they're wearing a mask. It just feels so weird lately, but I have to do it. I went in to take the vision exam for the driver's test because I was renewing my license and they just were like, can you see or not? And I passed and I almost went, really? Like that's in the doctor's face.
Damn,
they were like, what's the lowest line you can read? And I'm like, E.
Like, ACAB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Bone? I can't say bone.
I just see bees.
Yeah. Straight bees. Dude.
And what about the panties, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got Hanes boxer briefs and they're a little it's a fun color. It came in a multi-pack.
Right.
I've gone Hanes boxer briefs for all my adult life, and it doesn't even occur to me that underwear could be better. And I think it could. Like, I can't imagine I have the best quality underwear because it's what I've been buying since I was like, oh, $9 for 3. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a Hanesman myself. And yeah, it's definitely what I go with. Although I'd go with a different build, go with just boxer.
Just boxer. Yeah.
But Hanes all the way.
A different model.
Yeah. Different I go with the wagon.
What can I do to get you in a pair of boxer briefs today? You're like, who is this guy in the underwear section? I'm Hanes boxer briefs. I'm the same as Josh, but I'm Supreme underwear because I'm fucking cool, obviously.
Wow.
You know,
very cool 33-year-old man.
Yeah,
children's underwear.
Yeah. I like and then underwear that I have to stand in line for.
Yeah. Well, okay. You don't have to stand in line for it, but it is more expensive for no reason whatsoever. Besides, it makes you feel like less of a virgin, I guess. What? Any jewelry, watches, anything, or
just wedding ring? That's all.
Okay,
congrats.
It's nice. It's very thin. You can see very skinny band, and I think it's platinum. It's platinum.
Bragging about your healthcare again, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is my HMO card.
Like
this is what I show to the doctor.
Yeah. That's a nice wedding ring. So every time, so I'm married as well. I'm not wearing my wedding ring because, you know, we're in the studio right now. You know what I'm saying?
With the boys.
First of all, when I'm in the studio, I'm married to the
boys can't know I'm married.
Boys, dude, you know? Exactly. But James gets annoyed whenever we talk to people about their wedding rings.
Because no one wants to know this.
Thin. No, this is thin. No, you don't understand. This is good.
Yeah, I want to know about Josh's
for the young, impressionable audience at home. And Josh's is very thin, but platinum. I like that. Always go platinum on your wedding if you can afford it, obviously. But
yeah, it was very nice. A gift from my wife, and hers is a family heirloom, which is very sweet. And
so you didn't have to buy it.
Also very affordable for me.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
more money for Hanes.
Get into an heirloom situation. Yeah.
Dude, you have no idea how many pairs of Hanes I have. At the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I throw them in the trash and then throw the trash barrel into a bigger trash barrel. It's dead to me.
You're like Birdman, except instead of popping white tags on white tees, you're popping tags on Hanes boxer briefs.
He's the Fat Joe of the comedy game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just like wear it one time, lick them, throw them away. You know what I'm saying?
And I believe I saw a Hal's seltzer.
Hal's seltzer. That's right.
There we are.
Yeah.
Big bubbles only.
Flavor on that.
Hal's vanilla cream.
Wow. All right. Matches Lawrence's children's underwear.
That's a soda that is very popular with guys who drink lean. I was going to say rappers, but I don't want to be, put anyone in a box. Hal's is a very deep cut for guys who are porn up. So I don't know if that's your game, but yeah.
Because the bubbles are so massive, it gets it into your bloodstream quicker.
Yeah, that right. No, it's that real good mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're making lean, when you're in the lab, when you're working on the R&D, you want to get like the right consistency of soda with the right carbonation to work with the fucking, syrup to make it, so just for another tip at home for all the impressionable kids.
Cost per wear and how to make lean. All right. Is that a complete fit check?
That's a complete fit check. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, as you know, because you've been a fan of this podcast for many years now, when I first reached out to you during the Trump administration, the 3 main subjects of this podcast, Throwing Fits, the only podcast that matters, are money,
ching,
meats and cheeks,
That's sucking and fucking if you're nasty.
Most importantly, Jimmy and Larry, the goddamn motherfucking boys, ourselves. Here's the thing, man. It's a weird time in America, right? We're feeling kind of glum, Lawrence and I. I just fucked up my knee and I can't rock climb, which is like my favorite thing to do.
Oh no!
And Lawrence was recently described in the New Yorker as Oscar the Grouch-esque.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
so.
Recently,
we're like,
but that did happen.
We're not feeling too great. Plus, like the whole global pandemic. Can you give us one of your famed pep talks real quick?
Yeah, of course. It would be my pleasure.
Thank you.
These problems, especially the physical ailment, is such a real thing, and it feels like when you hurt yourself, it feels like it will never end. Especially like once you're not a child, you're like, well, I hurt my knee, and I guess this leg is just fucking busted forever.
Yeah, it's a wrap on that. Yeah, put a bow on it.
Done.
She's done.
I'm Kaiser Soze first 98% of the movie for good.
Except actually more crippled, right? Because he was just hamming it up. That was cripple stolen valor. Also, you can't say cripple. My bad.
Yeah, it was disability stolen valor, and then you find out the real twist. 20 years later, you're like, he's even worse than the movie.
Yeah,
So Kevin Spacey was playing the long game.
Yeah. He was pretending to be nice guy Kaiser Soze who just murdered his family.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Did a heist. Yes. So, but it's not. It's going to get better. It's going to feel better. You're going to get back to doing what you love, and it's going to be so gratifying and so exciting. And Oscar the Grouch-esque, that is, look, they're being colorful. They're trying to add a little whimsy to it. That doesn't define you. The New Yorker doesn't know you the way the people close to you know you. Doesn't know you the way your listeners know you.
James, how would you describe me then, since you know me so well?
Grumpy and lives in a trash can.
Damn it! I walked right into that one. Fuck.
But both of you do so much to bring joy into people's lives, and people really value and appreciate what you bring to them week after week. You introduce them to people that maybe they didn't know about and are interested in, people that they have known about for a long time. Like there's not on the podcast that you talk to people that there aren't a lot of great in-depth podcast interviews with and talks with.
Yeah.
And so you bring
like Rob McRae. Why the fuck would anyone want to talk to Rob on a podcast for 3 hours? Right. That's insane.
I will never besmirch Rob McRae. I will never.
Neither would I. That was just the first example that came to my mind. Channel YC. Yeah. Well, I feel much better now, even though my work husband did call me, basically, I think he was calling me the Grouch again.
No, it's Grouch-esque. I mean, Josh, you're known for your pep talks, but you're also kind of like widely known as just the nicest man in showbiz. And the thing that's kind of crazy is that everything about you indicates that you wouldn't be nice, right? You're from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Ooh, masshole.
Right? You work in TV.
Ooh,
right?
Dickhead energy.
Yeah. Why are you so nice? Like, is that just how you're raised? Is this an intentional choice? Like, walk us through that.
Let me rephrase.
Sure.
What's wrong with you, Josh?
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to the negative for later, but I just want to know why you're so nice.
I have great parents. That's part of it. Like I feel like I have to say lovely things about them whenever I'm asked.
You never listened to Eminem growing up because you loved your parents.
I did listen to Eminem.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
I don't relate.
Right.
Suing his mom, murdering his girlfriend. I don't even have a girlfriend.
No, rapping about murdering and I think it was his daughter's mother. His
daughter's mother.
Right.
I think there was probably,
which is then it's noble,
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had great parents, so you were raised right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sweet, no, that's okay. Real sweetheart parents, and I'm bad at being mean. Like whenever I try to like be like a hard ass, it just comes off exactly wrong. Like if I'm like, hey, if I'm renting a car and they're like, the car's not ready, and I'm like, but you said it would be ready, and they'd be like, well, it isn't, and I'd be like, okay. Like I immediately crumple, and I think everybody knows that, but people can just sense it in me that I'm gonna fold just immediately. But so it's like an effective thing. But and also since I've been doing comedy for so long on stage, there aren't that many people, there aren't that many guys that project like real gentle energy on stage. Sure. And I think that helps. Like, instead of leaning away from it and being like, oh, I really love these comics that have this hard edge, like a Dave Attell, who has like kind of a grisly edge.
Legend.
Be like him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. But like, instead of trying to like steer myself towards that, I can go, oh, well, that's not what I do.
So you leaned into it as part of like a branding choice?
I mean, not a branding choice as much as like a voice. I think I tried
a POV.
Yeah, exactly.
Unique POV. Got it.
Yeah. So it's not as much like, oh, this is good for the brand, but it's like, oh, this part of my personality like resonates with people in a way that's different than what a lot of guys are putting out on stage.
Can you point to or remember the last time you were actually mean, and not just trying to get your way because whatever, like, you know, we live in the Big Apple and, you know, people are trying to fuck you over all the time, but like,
hey, oh, fuck you.
I mean, you work in a stressful environment. I know you work with a lot of miscreants and goons, but like, when was last time you were actually truly mean?
I feel like I can be kind of prickly on Twitter sometimes, which is different than real life, but it is like, I try not to be so salty, but then somebody will just like respond.
You're a keyboard gangster.
I'm a little bit of a keyboard gangster.
You recently were fucking ratioed, right?
Twitter fingers.
It was
on some bullshit.
It wasn't like a full ratio, but it was like a lot of people liked the thing I said, but because it was so many, several hundred people were furious.
What was it that you were dying? What hill were you dying on?
Oh, it was so stupid. I had no idea. I didn't think, you know how some people are like, I'm cracking my knuckles. Get ready for my unpopular opinion. The Sopranos fucking sucks. And if you like it, you can suck your own dick. Like, it was not that. It was like, I wasn't like trying to be controversial. I just said, it was like 3 weeks ago, and Rowan Atkinson, the British comic actor who played
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean had
off a motherfucking bean. That's what they call me in the club, Mr. Off a motherfucking bean, dude.
Big Bean Day. It was a big bean day.
Yeah, big bean day. He had been asked about cancel culture, and he answered, you know, didn't give like it was just kind of like, well, like, you go,
who's going to cancel Mr. Bean, dude?
Well, that's what I said.
There was a fucking turkey on his head when he gave the answer.
They're like, we can't hear your answer. And he's like, oh, so you're canceling me now just because I have a turkey on my head?
Just because I love head fucking turkeys? Come on.
This turkey is censoring me. But what I said was, I was like, why would Mr. Bean ever, like, why would you ever listen to what Mr. Bean says about cancel culture? Like, what is he worried that someone like the PC police are going to arrest him for putting 2 trout on his feet and then making a funny face because he thinks they're slippers?
Chicken on his head or turkey on his head, etc.
People were so mad. People, like, a lot of people were like, that's very funny, because it was very funny. But then there were also people who were like, British people who were like, oh, you think Rowan Atkinson is Mr. Bean? He's fucking Blackadder, you cunt. And it's like, well, that doesn't hurt, because I know it doesn't mean as much when you say it, British people. Right. But so many people called me a cunt because I called him Mr. Bean and didn't like acknowledge his rich British legacy of comedy.
Rowan Atkinson to you.
That's Sir Mr. Bean to you, bitch.
That was like basically the tone of like, you ignorant American,
you ignoramus.
Why don't you go choke on some McDonald's if you can't recognize the genius of Bean? The Beanius. Recognize the Beanius.
Recognize the Beanius. Like, episode title.
But I think to James's point, like the initial question, right? Twitter fingers is one thing, but like, when's the last time you were like a dickhead to someone in person? Ever? Yeah. Like losing your temper, or, you know, some type of aggravation happened. You were grieving.
I mean, the last time I really like lost it on someone was like Halloween, like Halloween 2016 was the last day that will live in infamy. Yeah,
money dancing with some goth teens.
Yeah. So what happened on Halloween? This should be
Halloween 16.
I was late to a Halloween's. Yeah, the Ween 16 Everybody remembers it.
Where were you? Hashtag never forget, dude. Yeah. Where were you?
Is that what that's about?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, never finally.
Forget.
We live in a post Halloween 16 world.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers where they were. My grandparents, they don't want to talk about it. So I was late to a set, and I like couldn't cross. I was trying to go to the Comedy Cellar, but I got off a subway stop early. And I was like, oh, I'll just walk 10 blocks. But I was on the wrong side of the Halloween parade.
Oof. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So brutal, dude.
Yeah.
West Village lockdown.
truly. And every 3 blocks or so, the cops would be like, oh, at the 2 blocks down, they'll let you through. And nobody did. So I had to run from 14th Street down to Houston or Canal, maybe down to Canal, and then go around the whole parade and back up to West 3rd.
Damn. So were you late? Did you miss your call time or whatever?
I was a few minutes late, but I called ahead and was like, I'm going to be a few minutes late. It ended up being fine, but I was running down the street. I was like, I fucking have to make this set. I was going to be half an hour early and now I'm 10 minutes late, and I'm running. And there's a guy who he was wearing a Bernie 2016 shirt, which like I like Bernie Sanders. I like his politics a lot. He was no longer running for president at that point. He had dropped out of the election, and he was just whipping around Mardi Gras beads, like swinging them around, which is that's not a costume. That's just like, some people just use Halloween to be like, I'm going to do whatever.
He wasn't slutty Bernie.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah, no. Cause he wasn't people throwing beads at him. And he's like, okay, I'm going to redistribute these titties. It was like him just like whipping these beads around. And I'm running past him. And
you're not in costume, right?
Not in costume. I'm just dressed. I'm in like my Josh.
You're in dad jeans and some beautiful sneakers,
cardigan, t-shirt, sneakers, maybe a light jacket. So he hits me in the neck with his beads that he's
damn.
And I
got maced by Bernie.
Protect your neck.
And I mean the medieval type of mace, you know what I'm saying? Not like this shit.
And it's like, I thought you wanted to bring down American militarism, but nope, right to the neck, right to the jugular. So it hit me in the neck, and I was more mad that like it didn't hurt. It was just like little plastic beads he was dancing with. And I was just like, fuck you, man. And he goes, sorry. And I go, still fuck you. And he goes, I said sorry. And then I went, and then I said, fuck you again. And then
love that.
Because I was like,
it's an infinite spiral.
Yeah, dude, it's a war of attrition.
You were just looking for you to show him your titties. I would have ended it.
I could have deaded the whole thing. I was so mad. And again, it wasn't, his sorry was not a sincere sorry. It was a New York sorry, which means like, of course. Yeah, which means go fuck yourself. Right. It means go fuck yourself, but you have to know, right? Like he said, like, sorry. And it's like, that's not what you say when you're sorry. Like if like your romantic partner was like, hey, it really hurt my feelings that you came home late from work on my birthday, and you were like, sorry, that doesn't end the fight. That starts the bigger
that doesn't
fight.
Work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was so mad.
He hit you with one of those. He hit you with one of those.
He hit me with the fuck you, sorry. And so I gave him another fuck you. And I remember very distinctly being like, I said sorry. And he'd be like, yeah. And then again, I said fuck you. And I just like kept running because I had to get to the set. But I was like,
I like how you took you're very late, but I like how you took the time to fucking, exchange barbs with this gentleman. I
wanted to make myself clear that I was still mad. Like I just wanted to be on the record. Like I wasn't trying to fight him, but I just wanted to know, like, hey man, just my official statement on this. Yeah. I heard you're sorry. I'm gonna like stenographer
rejected.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Stamp rejected. Yeah.
But that was the last time I really like got into it with like a stranger, that I was really just like, cause and to him, that story is like a guy was being unreasonable, like running through a crowd and then cursed him out while he was just trying to bring joy to everybody by dancing with his stupid beads. But to me, I was like, I'm late. You're making me more late because you're doing a dance. Like you're acting like it's, like 3 a.m. at Bonnaroo or something.
It's like a cage match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere that guy's doing a podcast and he's telling this story from his perspective as well.
He's
and
the
it's a whole different ballgame.
The nicest guy in bead dancing.
Exactly.
Bead twirling.
He's like, when's the last time you were mean?
So your niceness obviously is kind of really what informs your comedy. And, it's so intertwined. But it's also, it's a common theory that most comedians develop their humor and comedy as a defense mechanism or way to cope with their insecurities.
Sure.
And the same is absolutely true of John's enthusiasts and sneakerheads, right? Like we're always looking to fill that void or catch up, chase that dragon. Since you're both a comedian and a sneakerhead, like were you bullied extra hard as a child?
No, I think I learned pretty young that I can like kind of scoot by trouble.
Okay.
With just like I got along.
Unless they're swinging some beads.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
And then it's over. Yeah. I should mention when I was in high school, the football team held me down and beat me with beads.
So, oh my God.
No.
Could be worse.
Yeah, they were just like, it's Mardi Gras every day, Gondelman. It sucks.
Welcome to Fat Tuesday, bitch.
Yeah.
Your lip's going to be Fat Tuesday. You're busted open. But yeah, I think I just like was a get alonger since I was a kid. I was always just like pretty easy to get along with. So it was never like, I mean, like the humor was a little bit of like how I moved through social situations, but it wasn't a defense mechanism so much as like, it was just the thing that I brought to the table. Whereas like, you know, like I could hang out. I played.
That was your maxed out attribute. Like the other things might not have been, you know, 5, a 4, maybe a 6, but that was, we're talking a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's where I was at. And so, and it was, I went to like a pretty small public high school. So it wasn't like it wasn't like if you were good at school, that's like that could be your whole thing. Like, yeah, I feel like that's always how it is on TV, right? Like when a kid's good at school, it's like, well, all they do is study. And it's like, you still have to do other stuff. There's not that many kids. Like people are going to ask you questions. They're wanting you to join something.
Okay. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, I was just saying. So like that was, I felt like there wasn't just enough of like, oh, we're the nerds. Even though I was also a nerd.
Everyone was everything except for the football team. They were just pieces of shit.
No, they were fine. I get along fine with them.
But why? Like, do you have a theory why? Because obviously, you know, in the past few years, there's been a whole reckoning, and this has always kind of been the case where comedians are assholes. But like, I feel like in the past few years, especially, it's crossed the line, and then it became a conversation of like, where is the line? What is the line? Mm-hmm. But just 35,000 feet. Why do you think there are so many dick ass comedians?
I think it was like a world where you could get by being a dick, right? Like there's not a lot
like it was rewarded. Negative behavior was reinforced.
Yes. It was like there are so many jobs where like being, or like social situations where being a dick, people are like, that guy's a dick. But like you
I like that
on stage. Yeah. And that's like part of it. That's like totally okay, right? Like there are lots of great comedians who on stage have like kind of dirtbaggy personas and like are a little bit mean and snarky, and that's fine. But like I think what you don't want is like the people who are doing that off stage, or people who are doing it on stage in a way that's like really cruel and not like for fun and funny. Yeah. And so I think like the space kind of rewarded that. Like I'm sure in certain other fields, there's like, you like business, there's like, oh, that guy's a real cutthroat. He's a real boss. He fucking gets after it. And it's like, well, no.
Hustle and grind culture.
Yeah.
That Gary Vaynerchuk is fucking awesome.
Hashtag entrepreneur. Hashtag VC. Yeah. And it's like
hashtag millionaire mindset.
Yeah. All that shit. And it's like, you can also be nice. Like maybe if like the whole driving force of your business is like, fuck you. It's like, maybe you're not good at business. You're just good at fuck you. And people are afraid
just fucking people over. Like that's just, you're just a professional.
Yeah. You might be the CEO of MyPillow.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That guy. Exactly. That guy graduated #1 in his Gary Vaynerchuk fucking class, dude, for real.
And it's just like,
actually he was number 17. Hashtag QAnon.
Oh, damn.
But
yeah.
Also though, like,
right. Oh, sorry.
No. So, obviously, so today was the inauguration, right? And, for the last 4 years, Trump has kind of served as such like a natural foil for so many comedians. Look at that one person that, just made a living out of, or blew up out of just some person or lip syncing his
Cooper.
Shit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with Trump out of office and kind of with like, whether the temperature's lowered or emotions are, not as heightened or blah, blah, blah. How do you think comedy will change now that he's gone?
I'm like curious to see, because I do think one thing that I think would be actually really cool and worthwhile is if like the aesthetic of comedy has moved left to the point where like you can kind of go in on Biden in a way that like was not always easy to do and was not always done as much with Obama, right? When Barack Obama was president.
Sure.
Like I would love to see, and not just the surface level of like, he's an old man, but like going in on Biden policies in the way that you would go in on Trump policies, even though he's like technically.
People didn't really make jokes about Barack Obama drone striking weddings or anything.
Right.
Like,
they there was not that much. And I feel like there was this sense of like, well, that's our team and we'll go a little gentler because the people on the other side are monsters, which is still true. But I think like you can I would be interested to see where like the comedy about Joe Biden goes.
So here's the next question. Should comedians even like occupy this kind of role that people look to be barometers of this kind of the or warriors of the culture war?
I don't think they have to necessarily, but I mean, since I've worked in late night for so long, I do think that like, if you're going to comment on politics, like to really be thorough and sincere about it, like, and be funny in a way that like you're saying what you mean rather than just like, oh, look at this guy with aviators. You know what I mean? Like 4 years of that while America's immigration policy is probably still really bad is not, you know, I feel like that does kind of a disservice. But I also don't think people should be looking to comedians as like the moral arbiters. I just think like you should make good comedy if you're a comedian.
Right.
Are you drawn to more
focus on what focus on like the task at hand, which is making people laugh versus like maybe having too many
because politics
agendas against that but
politics and comedy have always been so intertwined.
Yeah,
right.
Fair.
It's just that I think that especially with Twitter blowing up, you know, last 4 years, especially with Trump, it's like comedians have been put on a pedestal where they are like the oracles, right?
Sure.
And that's it.
It's a little much, but I do think like make the comedy that's good that you
make comedy great again.
Oh God. Did I say that?
Clip it out, Chuck.
Just got his ass.
Keep making. Oh no.
That's a drone strike.
They came
First drone strike with the Biden administration.
Get used to it, bitch.
Oh no, they got my
There's more where that came from. Send his ass to Guantanamo.
Oh, this podcast hurts. Yeah, I just think like do good comedy and like, you know, not that all comedy has to be political, but I do think like if you're doing political comedy, like do it in a way that you think that's funny and like bites a little bit, and that isn't just like the kind of silly like, oh wow, that Donald Trump, have you seen his bronzer, folks? And it's like after 5 years of him being like just a malignant tornado of cancer weather, to just like to keep doing that is like, come on, like let's step up our game a little bit.
Yeah, there's a cancer front coming. Are you drawn to political comedy because right now you're at Jesus Marrow, right? About to start on season 3.
Yeah,
and before that you were at last week tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah,
obviously political. Like, are you good at that? Is that what you're drawn to? Like, what's your relationship there?
I like.
Is that your sweet spot?
It helps because I think I came into TV from being like a joke person or like writing short comedy pieces like New Yorker type shit.
Can you tell us a joke real quick?
Oh God.
Also, the last time we asked someone on the pod to tell us a joke, he fucking blew up and threw a metal water canister at the wall.
Really?
It was a Barstool personality.
He was telling jokes and we were interrupting him. That was our joke and he didn't get it.
Didn't like it. I had to do that once coming into the United States because I drove into Canada by accident. Leaving Detroit, like driving home
by accident.
Yeah.
Where are you driving from? Russia? Like
from Chicago. We were driving from Chicago to Boston.
How drunk were you?
How
drunk driving were you?
We just wicked drunk. Dude.
Sick. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Nice.
We were leaving Chicago at like 10 p.m. and we just set the GPS to, and it was like one of the old like little brick GPSs, not like on a
Tom's with like the Snoop Dogg voice.
Garmin. Yeah. Exactly. It was Garmin. And we said it, we're just like, take us to Boston. And then it took us into Canada as we passed out of Detroit. And so we drove through Canada for 3 hours and we had to get back into the United States. And the customs guy was like, and they let us into Canada, no problem. They were just like, have fun, boys. Oh, hope you love the country. And then on the way back into the US, the guy was like, so where are you coming from? We're like, Chicago. And like, what were you doing there? We're like, comedians. And he's like, comedians, huh? Tell me a joke. Damn, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, this is a no-win situation. Like, no one has ever...
Make me laugh, boy.
Yeah. No one's ever like killed it and been like, you're the best comedian I've ever heard of. Do you have an album for sale? Can I buy a t-shirt?
What joke did you like? Tell?
Could you only think of like 9/11 jokes and like Department of Homeland Security jokes?
Yeah. Dead cop jokes.
I was like, so have you heard of Bad to the Bone?
Yeah. Yeah, this will be funny in like 10 years.
Yeah. There's going to be a podcast. The best.
Yeah, eventually. You don't know. You don't know. Let me back up. So a podcast is
a podcast. It's like Howard.
It's a group of white men.
You can listen whenever. Yeah.
Right. So you've listened to the radio before, right? Okay. Well,
it's like
the internet. Well, okay. Let me explain what. So the internet
is the radio. We're good.
White guys who think they're important, right? Yeah. All right.
Great.
America.
Yeah. You are one.
Podcast.
So
did you? So what was the joke?
I told him. This is a street joke that I learned from a comic named Frank Santarelli, a Boston comic headliner. And this is the joke. He goes, a traveling salesman rings the door to an family residence, and opening the door is a 14-year-old boy in a cocktail gown, blonde wig, drinking a martini with one hand, smoking a cigarette with the other hand. And the salesman, obviously flustered, said, "I'm sorry, son. Is your mother home?" And the kid goes, "The fuck do you think?" And that's the whole joke. It's just like a little street joke about how this kid was, it's a little, I think, out of date, but I think it's funny that he's like smoking and drinking and he goes, "Is your mother home?" What the fuck do you think? And the reaction.
Did he laugh?
He went, "Oh, I get it."
I mean, you said Boston comic. I thought it was going to be real racial.
No. Those are the jokes I've heard from Boston audiences.
Right.
Sure.
Dude, I've got a fucking joke for you. You got to put this in your act.
How often does that happen in Boston specifically?
It used to happen. I mean, it wouldn't happen all the time, but whenever you would get someone being like, "Guy, come here. You're a good shit. You're a good shit, but you got to hear this joke." And then you'd be like, "Oh no!" Like you're about
this
to hear
is going to have the N-word in it as the punchline.
It's going to be more racist than joke.
Right.
Like
it's just a racist thought.
And you're like, "Thank you, Ben Affleck." Next Duncan's on me.
Good. I'm good. Yeah.
Let's talk about your one flaw, your singular flaw. You're a sneakerhead.
Yeah. It's a problem.
What was the first pair of sneakers? I mean, you said 6 years ago, this kind of started for you. So what was the first pair of sneakers that really kind of got you started down this dark path?
I got a pair. So before that, I would wear alternating. I would have one, maybe two pairs at a time, which is all I really needed. I would have a pair of Saucony Jazz or Saucony. I always forget how it's pronounced.
Saucony.
Yeah. Saucony Jazz, and then I would have a pair of Adidas Sambas, which are like both comfortable,
classics.
Yeah, classics.
Which are having a moment right now. ASAP Rocky, ASAP Nas, really just most of the ASAP mob, but
and ASAP Jonah Hill.
ASAP
Jonah Hill, right? ASAP Feldstein, I believe, and just buy stock now, kid. Another tip for the audience. Look at that.
But I love a Samba, but it was like, and they were also, it was one of those things where like you could get them wherever the price never went up at that time. You could always get them for like $60, $90.
Like Journeys, you could go to Journeys and just get
Zappos. You could get even just like order them to your house if you
RIP.
Easy.
Yeah.
I know, RIP. And
to the guy, not to Zappos.
Right. Tony.
What about Journeys? I thought you were talking about Journeys. I was just like, of course, Journeys is out of business.
I think there's still Journeys.
Damn, still kicking, bro.
Journey goes on. The journey keeps going.
It's about the journey, not the destination. You know what I'm saying? Journeys.
Better way to journey, bitch.
We're giving many.
Journey is sponsoring the pod. Yeah, yo, Journey sponsor the pod, dude. I'll do that in a second.
Journeys.
Anyway, sorry. So Sambas, etc.
And I was like, oh, you know what? Next time, like I had worked with at Caroline's, the comedy club. I'd opened for my buddy Ron Funches.
We're familiar.
My friend Ron Funches was headlining, and my friend Yasser Lester was on the show, and they had great sneakers. And I was like, you know what? I need to do that. I'm gonna go in and get something real good and exciting,
snazzy,
something snazzy. So spiffy. I got the like spiffy. That's what I want. I wanted to be snazzier and spiffier, and so we got nominated for the Emmy the next week or 2 weeks later at Last Week Tonight. And I was like, well, this is a cause for celebration. So I got a pair from Flight Club of the Jordan 1s, but it was the Russell Westbrook before he had his own signature shoe. So it was like pine green and like bright pink. And it was a Jordan 1. I was like, oh,
these are spiffy.
Was your intention to wear them to the Emmys or just a gift to celebrate?
That year was just to celebrate. I did not wear them to the Emmys, I don't think. A couple years later, I did that move, which I like have since kind of like fallen off of, because you really got to get the pants tailored to, if you're wearing a high top, you've got to get it. It's an exact science for sure. It really is. Otherwise, they billow like it's the 1996 NBA draft.
Right. Exactly.
So, looking like you're on night openings.
Yeah, for real.
That's right. Is that Jason Alexander from the Dunstan Checks In premiere?
Yeah. And he looks absolutely spiffy as fuck.
So spiffy. We're rewatching. My wife and I are rewatching all of Seinfeld.
The Alexander catalog,
and his fits are so good.
Wait, you're just rewatching all Seinfeld?
All of Seinfeld from the beginning.
Are you going to start a new Twitter account? Like, what's that?
Yeah, but he's supposed to be Larry David, and Larry David famously has great style. Yeah. So I think it kind of like makes sense.
And my buddy Rob Hayes, I want to shout him out for putting me onto this, because you think of Jerry Seinfeld, like you think of him as wearing kind of clunky white sneakers, but his sneaker game is not bad. Like
Jerry was dripped as fuck, dude. He had a lot of Jordans and shit. He's famously a sneakerhead too, always wearing shocks and shit.
1738. That's a little deep cut for the heads.
He did our boy Joe LaPuma sneaker shopping show. Right.
And Blackbird Spy Plane and the Blackbird Spy Plane newsletter. Let's talk about that.
Shout out Jonah Weiner. Yes. Also Jonah. He did Blackbird.
Everyone Google, Google Jerry Seinfeld 1738. See what I mean?
So the Russell Westbrook
Jordan ones.
Yes. Those were that's the first hit. That's the gateway drug.
Yeah.
You instantly addicted. Was it like crack cocaine?
It felt terrific.
I know you've never done cocaine.
I've not famously have not done cocaine.
Why not?
Yeah, you're missing out, dog. Yeah.
I'm not a lot of fun.
I mean, allegedly you're missing out. I don't know.
This is a parody podcast.
Yeah. If the DEA is listening, this is a parody.
If a very specific 4-minute slice of Boogie Nights told me one thing, it's that cocaine is very fun.
Yeah, but if the other 120 minutes told you something else, it's that it's awesome.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But that's, I mean, I get it. You're out here trying to sell merch
in your house.
That's true.
You're out here trying to sell merch like the rest of us. And like, you got to have you got to have something, got to have a thing. That's a thing. That's a thing.
How much have you, so your cocaine expenditure over your lifetime is zero. How much have you spent on sneakers in totality, would you say?
I don't know. It's gotta be, I mean, it's up in the
thousands.
I would say, I would say if I have like 50 pairs, and then some of them are, a couple hundred, some of them are a little less. So I've got to be like between $5,000 and $10,000 over the past, like,
what's your most expensive pair?
I got a pair for the Jesus and Mero premiere party. I got a pair of the off-white, like the kind of desert or Air Max 90s. And those
from the 10?
No, because the ones with they came out like after the 10, I think, but they did like another round of Air Max 90s that came out, and I got them. They're
the Halloween ones. Are they orange and tan?
Yes.
Are those them? Yeah, they're like, there was a Halloween. I think it was a Halloween pack with the blazer, or maybe not.
They did the blazers too, right?
Yes, I think that was Halloween. But yeah, those are fucking. So you bought them on the resale market.
I got them resale, so they were.
Ooh, and I was spent what, 500?
It was like $450.
Okay.
And those are the most good. That's like the most I've paid for a pair. And this was like, I've got this new job, shows premiering on Showtime, season 1 premiere. There's a party where there's going to,
you commemorate occasions with sneakers, or you have been, is what you're telling us.
And I mean,
do that.
Deezus is a fucking notable sneakerhead. I think he, when we were on the Deezus and Mero happy hour, I think he took a little umbrage when we were like talking about the post sneaker world and making fun of like hype sneaker culture. Do you guys bond over that though?
Yeah, we do. So when I interviewed for the show, when I went in for my interview, I wore a pair of Kyrie 4s, the All-Star colorway, which is like black and white tie-dye with like a blue outsole. And they're just like pretty loud. And I wore them to the interview, and as he walked in was like, "Hey, nice kicks." And
did you do that by design, thinking that you might like cross paths with Deezus, or was it just a happy accident?
I knew he would be there. I knew he'd be in the interview, and I was like, I feel
you were pandering, I believe is the term.
I would say fitting in. Is what I was trying to do.
Okay. I like, spin zone, baby. Love that.
That's us. Yeah.
What was Sorry, keep going.
So he said that. That was the first thing he said. Then the second thing, when the interview started, it was the day after the Red Sox had won the 2018 World Series. And he knew I was from Boston. He goes,
dark day in history.
He goes, I bet you feel pretty fucking happy right now. And they said, yeah, man, it's great. You should try it sometime.
Oh,
reverse
damn. Fucking burn zone.
What was the hardest question that either Desus or Mero asked you while interviewing you for the job?
It was very like nuts and bolts, which is very, because sometimes you go into an interview and it's all like personality and vibes based, but like it was like workflow. Like, how would you want to handle workflow for
which kind of interview are you better at typically? Vibes or practical logistical answers?
I guess like
I'm a vibes guy personally.
I can do vibes. I definitely think I can do vibes better because I don't have a lot of
vibe check.
Yeah, we're gonna hire that guy immediately. He doesn't suck.
But it's like one of those things where I again, because I'm a get along person, I can like kind of sail through an interview. But if they're like, okay, now break down how you would structure your day minute to minute from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm like, what am I, Mark Wahlberg's Instagram? I don't know how to do that.
That's fucking insane. You are an aspiring streetwear icon. You made this statement over the summer. Does this mean that you're also an aspiring masochist? Because why would you ever do that to yourself?
No, I think I had just started buying like increasingly audacious sweatshirts in quarantine. And I was like, no one's going to see them. I can try them out around the house and then bring them out to the street if I feel good about it.
You're doing a little test drive at home.
A little test drive in the house.
Little testy.
Little, that's what they call me. Little testy.
Little testy.
That must be what that means.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Small test drive.
Absolutely did. Well, so here's the question then. So if you are an aspiring streetwear icon, that begs the question, who are your actual kind of like streetwear icons? Who are you looking to as like someone that
your heroes?
Dress flying specifically.
Or sheroes.
Yeah. Or sheroes, right. Specifically in the fashion, personal style, streetwear space.
I truly feel like, having watched Seinfeld, I was like, the George Costanza aesthetic is so good. My buddy Jason Diamond was like way ahead of me on this, but I think his like cardigan button down game is just really strong in a way it's like people talk about it as being like Seinfeld aesthetic as being like normcore, and I think Jerry was, but I think George was like very stylish for real. And like Elaine's outfits are amazing.
Dude, Elaine wears like multiple Polo Ralph Lauren grails. I mean, where does she work? She works at J. Peterman, right? So there's that also.
She starts at Pendant Publishing for the first several seasons. Right.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of big fits. Even Kramer. How big are Kramer's fits? Goddamn, the cam collar god. So it's like very stylish. I mean, this is a very obvious take, right? But the entire internet knows. But Seinfeld is like at least compared to like, I don't know, what a bunch of its contemporaries holds up for sure.
I think like
styles,
and I think a lot of the comedy holds up. Like,
terrible. I mean, absolutely not. No way. I can't. There's that show popular? No chance.
If only I had a phone where I could call from on the street, solve every problem. But Jerry impression.
Also, like, I understand that. I mean, like, I have said that, and it's like a fun observation. But when people like, I tweeted something recently about like rewatching Seinfeld, and like several people tweeted me like, if they had cell phones, and it's like, I do know that, but it's like,
tell me more.
That doesn't mean it's bad. It's like, oh yeah, if you're watching Pride and Prejudice and they had a fucking
cell phone
car, they had equality.
Yeah. I was watching Barry Lyndon last night, and I thought, if they just had cell phones,
we need that Seinfeld, Mr. Bean crossover for you to truly get fucking eviscerated off the internet.
So mad at me.
Damn, dude.
I was just, we've been rewatching the whole thing. We're in season 4 now. Season 3. This is like the nice part of the internet though. Season 3, I tweeted about it. The first episode of season 3, there are background vocals in the song.
Oh, that's right.
And I had tweeted about it because I was like, this is weird. Like, it feels like it's being haunted. And the guy who did all the music from Seinfeld replied and told me the whole story.
What's the deal? What's the deal? Sorry.
Nailed it, dude.
It was too good.
Don't be sorry.
It was very good. Yeah.
Never apologize.
Let's get more of that.
Was Leonardo da Vinci sorry when he put the last brushstroke on the Mona Lisa? No.
When he brushed that cake pop man?
No, not at all.
I Oh, so he told me that it was something he discussed with Larry and Jerry. He was like, oh, this would be cool. And they were like, yeah, cool. And so he did it. And then they didn't tell the network, but it was too late. And the network was like, what are you doing? And they had locked like 3 episodes with it in. But after the first one, the network freaked out and they had to cut the vocals. They had to like redo the music for episodes 2 and 3.
Damn.
Fucking
so
Suits, man.
Yeah. The Suits didn't want do not change a goddamn thing. This is making money hand over fist. Don't fuck it up.
Speaking of Suits, you're about to get back in the saddle, and I guess you just started this week working on season 3 of the best show in late night Jesus and Mero. Like you mentioned that you put on kicks for not just every Zoom call, but especially every show night. Yeah. What are the season 3 premiere kicks going to be? Because this is a big one. This is a big one.
I've been thinking about it. You know what? You guys must know Russ Bankston, right?
Absolutely.
He's been on a previous podcast endeavor that shall not be named, but yeah, Russ is the man. Shout out,
He's
Russ.
the best.
Legend.
I got from him. He's going through his storage unit and he's posting on Instagram.
That's right.
Oh yes, that's right. He's going ham. Yeah,
I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm not the same size as him.
Yeah. No, that's the blessing, Josh. Being the same size as Russ, the fucking god, the guru, Yoda.
Incredible. So he just posts on Instagram and it's just like heat from like stuff he just had in storage for like 15, 20
OG
years.
Shit too. That's like the best thing about Russ is that Russ's taste level. This isn't like fucking hype bullshit. Like it's fucking for the heads.
He grew here. We flew here.
He just like he'll like leave him at a
mustard shit.
He'll leave him at a fucking CVS, right?
Yeah.
And just be like,
he'll
go
just
get
put him
him
at a Taco Bell or at a park. He'll be like, oh, these are like tennis shoes. So I'll leave them on a tennis court at a park. And just with a note that's like, hey, tag me on Instagram if you find these.
Nice.
Like, yeah, he rules. And so I bought from him the Allen Iverson question practice colorway, talking about practice. Yeah. And so I think probably that's going to be the episode 1.
Fire. Fuck yeah. His desk. I don't know what your desk, Ed, are you back in the office?
No, we're all remote.
So I don't know what your desk looks like pre-pandemic, but his desk at Complex, had to sit like 3 feet off his desk because there's no room underneath his desk for his legs to go. It was just all sneakers. He was swimming, and all fucking rarities,
swimming in fucking Nike.
So he was like typing like this, like 3 feet away from the computer,
like a Buster Rhymes video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just fisheye lens.
Yeah,
on the laptop. All right, so season 3, what can we expect from Jesus and Mero season 3? Like, what's going to be different? Obviously, a lot of shit for season 2 was filmed remotely. I think you guys got a little thirsty there for digital guests, and that you had these 2 fucking goons on. Season 3, what can we expect?
Season 3 is just going to kind of try to grow what we've been doing in season 2. It took us a while to like get our sea legs underneath us in terms of like what kind of stuff can we produce remotely, what's comfortable to like go out in the world and shoot. And we ended up shooting some sketches like with the guys like in a park, one back in the office. And so I think we're just going to like knowing what we can do safely and what we can, and because that's the priority, and what we can do that like stays in the voice of the show. We started doing the guys are the fucking funniest and best. So they'll like put up and take down the green screens in their own houses so that we can shoot green screen stuff where they play characters, and like we'll mail them or courier them costumes and stuff.
When we did the after show, I was most impressed with how like involved like kind of technically they were with like the setup and shit, and I was like, god damn, I am not a professional.
They're so good.
These guys are real deal.
Like, they could be so much like they have the leeway to be like pricks about it, be like, no, send someone to my house and take it down. No, COVID tested. Sure. And they're just like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Like they're just so cool about it. So like that kind of stuff is back. I mean, the backbone of the show is just how funny they are.
Oh, the best
together. Yeah. They're so funny. And it makes like so much of my job is just like editing out the least excellent jokes after we do the shoots. So like, I think we have great guests lined up already. I don't think I'm at liberty to say any yet, but like awesome guests. Like I'm so psyched for our show 1 guest. We're going to shoot some stuff out in the world. We're going to shoot some more of like man on the couch segments where they talk to people just like all over the country, all over the world. If we can get them, that just because they're so good at that. They're so natural and funny. And just like, I think season 2, we really found like a pandemic stride for the show that despite the horrible conditions, they were so good. And we figured out all these different kinds of textures to add to the show between the interviews, the green screen stuff, the live sketches, and so I'm really psyched. I mean, I just like love working for the show, love working for them.
Our guests now, like when it comes to booking guests, first of all, like, great lineup, but our guests, celebrities, now fucking stoked to come on to the Deez Mero show.
There are a lot of them that really are. Like, there are some I think that you kind of get that are like, oh, this person's really cool and they have a movie coming out and they're doing kind of every show. So they're like very gracious and lovely. But like when David Letterman did it last year, he was like, I want to do this show. Like, this show is what I'm into. This is like my shit right now, which is so cool. The guy who like reinvented what a late night show could be was like, oh, this is like, I'm looking at this and I think this is the next thing. And he was so like charmed and engaged. It was awesome.
Letterman is for sure a GOAT. Do you have a personal dream guest that you would love to have on?
Oh gosh. I mean,
have you thought about that?
There are a couple that have pitched. I mean, we had the Beastie Boys, the surviving Beastie Boys, Mike D and Ad Rock were on, and that was like overwhelming for me. I'm like a huge Beastie Boys fan. Being a Jew from the Northeast who grew up in the 90s was just like, oh, that's like a level of cool. That's where I could max out if I made all the right decisions.
Sure. Right. If everything goes, if every break goes your way.
Every break. Right. If I keep my hair,
you'd be MCA. All right.
Yeah.
If I do more cocaine, which that's where you went wrong. You could have been the fourth Beastie Boy, but you never fucking snorted any yay.
You never did cocaine with Madonna, so you're fucking out of here.
I dropped the ball. That's what they said to me when I applied. I went in for the interview. My vibes were great, but they were like, have you done cocaine with Madonna? And I just couldn't bullshit my way through it.
Yeah. Who was your least favorite guest been?
Who's my least favorite guest man?
Yeah, who sucked? Be mean for once.
Yeah. let us set you up, dude. Let us set you up to be a bad guy.
Who is your least? It's not who's your most hated. It was who's your least loved.
Least favorite, right? Least loved. I think. I don't know. There were just a couple that were kind of low energy. There was one that didn't air. That was like very low
spicy.
Energy. But I don't know if I'm at liberty to say.
Probably not if you want to keep your job.
Were they a politician? Were they a athlete? Were they an actor? Can you give us a category at least?
Actor.
Yeah. They were white. Were they white?
Not white.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Didn't see that coming.
Because most white people, I guess most white people are on drugs, so they do have the energy.
I would say the best, this is not a comment on drugs, but like one of the best, most energetic guests that we had, because we've had so many people that are just like really excited to be there and had really great vibes with it. It's like the Haim sisters, the band Haim was awesome because the guys know them and like their music and they're fans. Like they go back a little ways. So like, even though it doesn't, if you don't know that backstory, you're like, what an interesting fit. And then it was just terrific. Like they had such a nice vibe.
You mentioned earlier, Josh. Oh no, sorry. Continue. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh no, that's okay. And I was gonna say, another recent favorite one that just had like really great energy was Timbaland and Swizz Beatz came on together.
Oh, Swizz Beatz.
No, not Magoo.
Where is Magoo? Does anyone know where Magoo is?
Yeah. He's a gaffer on Versus.
Damn.
You know how sometimes the boom mic dips into the
shot? That's
Magoo is a short little motherfucker. Yeah.
You're sleeping on the job again, Magoo.
Josh, I want to ask you real quick. Are you aware or familiar of, it is now shut down or at least private, but are you aware or familiar with Deez's Tumblr from back in the day? Oh my God.
Go back that far.
Get him to show it to you. It is literally, it is the source of all good things online.
He's great. I mean, they're so good at the internet.
Let's back up for a second. So you kind of mentioned like a few things you do here and there, but like, what is your job at Deez Mero? You're a writer and not solo, executive producer at Deez Mero. I text you this. What the fuck does that mean?
So it means I'm in the writer's room. I'm pitching stuff. I'm writing stuff, and producing stuff that I pitch that gets made, which is cool. Like we're, seeing it through, help kind of being in conversation with the director on the shoots and being in conversation with the editors and the producer on the edits. So that's like part of it as a writer. And then I get to kind of be a part of the bigger picture conversations, and I work in the edit for the show. So like Julia Young, who's been with them since the old show, who's great, like takes the lead on the long edit days where we have to go through like the whatever hour and a half we shoot. That's like, wow, that was great. We could air that and then cut it down to like 20 minutes. And so I work with her on that. I work with the writers kind of like looking at cuts sometimes. being like an extra pair of hands and eyes for the head writer. So it's like I get to do all sorts of stuff on the show, which is really fun. Last week tonight, my job was staff writer, and I just like wrote and like wrote scripts and wrote jokes, which was awesome. And I feel like I got really great training. But now I'm like, oh, I get to like kind of touch all sides of the show, which is very cool.
Chestnut checkers.
Chestnut checkers. I mean, yeah, it's just like I get. It's like I got the king piece where I'm like, oh, I'm allowed to move in these other directions.
Sure.
It's not like I'm some like god tier.
I'm Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. What's the what is like the in that kind of that up, not that upgrade, but that progression in your career? Like what is the wnext thing? Like where do you go from here?
I guess like a thing that is on the horizon, I hope eventually, is like either creating or co-creating a show with somebody. So like let's do it.
We're the less funny, whiter Jesus and Mero, and we have absolutely nothing going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to
take it back to like 07, you know,
that is a Costanza level pitch.
Sure, if you want to hitch your wagon to two show ponies.
Did you work on the Obama interview?
I didn't. That was done. They kind of put it together. I know. They put it together kind of after the season ended, so they did it with a really small team.
Oh, so you were like in Capri or some shit. Like you were, yeah. You were letting the digital peons do it.
I was doing one of those, those multiple tests, private island vacation.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You and your inner circle.
You were on Little St. James for a brief.
I was in. Yeah. Well, it's cool now. Like the island that was a pedophile, it was the guy.
Right. The rates are at a crazy discount. Actually, they're trying to get tourism back up.
Super. Yeah. I did an ad. did a TV ad for them. Is that a bad look? No, I've just been like in my apartment, like the whole doing my podcast,
doing your pod,
working on other little writing.
You do a lot of pods too. So again, thank you for fitting us in.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so flattered to be asked. Fan of the show.
Looking back as we kind of like, as you're primed for season 3, looking back at the first 2 seasons, what is the moment that you look back at and you're like most proud of?
Oh gosh, there's some stuff that I really love just as like enjoying watching it and being a part of it. Like the first debate, I think it was the first debate where we shot it and turned it around really quickly to edit the piece, get out really fast. It was the one where Elizabeth Warren just like ripped Mike Bloomberg to shreds, which was so funny. And they were so funny talking about it that was really cool. Like it was like, oh, they did 7 minutes on the debate, which like coming into this show, maybe people weren't expecting, like coming into the Showtime version where because it was an election year, especially, we went a little heavier on politics than we would another time. Like hopefully we'll get to do a little less this year. But also just like getting to make really silly stuff, like pitching stuff that I'm like, I think this is really funny. And I think Jesus and Mero will really like it. So we did 2 pieces. One was like this heavy produced sketch called Intern Fights, which was the premise was Jesus had been on Kimmel. They both were on Kimmel. And Jesus said like, our staff is like so big now and we don't know what everyone does yet. This was like before we premiered season 1. And I was like, it would be so funny if the way they used the interns was to make them fight and then make like a VHS of it to sell. So it's like an ad for a VHS compilation called Intern Fights.
And like bum fights.
Exactly like bum fights. Like that. The idea was like if bum fights had like a Girls Gone Wild type ad on.
Oh, nice.
So that's what we made, the ad for it. And like we hired
violence at the workplace plus a little sexual harassment sprinkled on top. Yeah.
Okay. We hired like a whole group of stunt actors who were amazing. This one woman did like a flip, and while she was upside down, a guy whipped a coffee cup that like went between her legs, which were fully upside down while she was in the air, and shattered against the wall. It's like a breakaway coffee mug. And I was
awesome.
Like, this fucking rules. And then the other one, this is like one of the dumbest things I've ever written in a way that I feel very affectionate towards. And our offices are right by Madison Square Garden, where Billy Joel helicopters in for a residency once a month, famously.
The god, respect forever.
So we did a Man on the Street piece called Billy versus Belly. And it was Jesus and Mero asking people on the street questions about, was this something? It was like questions about Billy Joel's life, questions about the movie Belly starring DMX and Nas. And then we did a round of like, was this Billy or Belly? Was this from Billy Joel's life or was it from DMX's life? And it's harder than you think.
I mean, Billy Joel, a lot of drunk driving. I don't know if they drunk drive in Belly, but yeah, he's lived hard and he's lived fast. And
I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Joel's crib was also if Billy Joel's crib was also all white with black lights in the strip club.
Yeah.
The best moment. This was like truly a joy to my heart. I'll think about it forever. This one guy. So the question was Billy or Belly. And Belly meaning DMX's real life was like what we did. Billy or Belly, who once crashed a car into a house? And the guy was like, both. And we're like, actually just Billy Joel. And the guy looks at Jesus and goes, you telling me you know for a fact DMX never crashed a car into a house?
That's a valid question, man.
I was like, this is making television is fun.
Sure.
Only in New York.
Show business, baby.
So to recap, the moment you're most proud of is making a bunch of interns fight each other to the death. Well, I mean, look, it sounds like your job is a super important one, obviously. And I know for a fact that you manage a whole squadron of fine folks at Deez & Mero. I mean, the staff there is like second to none.
Great staff.
Of all the people that work for you, who's your favorite?
Oh gosh, I couldn't pick. I work really closely with one editor and our post supervisor, and so I really feel very, very like we've gotten very close over like the last couple of years because we're just like in a tiny edit or like on hours of Zoom calls every week, which is really nice. So shout out to Matt. And then our writer's room is so great. Like they're just so creative and fun and just really wonderful.
Our boy Rob is joining the writer's room this season. He got the promotion, and you're going to be his boss.
They called him up to the majors.
Yeah, give me the lefty. Give me the lefty.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for Rob YC McRae?
I'm psyched. Because the stuff he did with digital is so good in that department, and just like bringing his like sense of humor and point of view into the writer's room to like get the kind of stuff that he was doing with the digital team, and like that vibe to get it on the air.
You want some of the sauce. You want some of the YC sauce.
We want
the a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Everybody.
His Avi is fucking George Costanza with a shape up and a fucking big ZC.
Yeah.
The best. I'm so psyched. I'm like
someone,
really
and then another person. I'm not sure if she's still there because she had experienced such a glow up, but seemingly the only person that like really had an amazing 2020, professionally speaking, of course, is Z-Way. Is she still? Is she still?
She's gone because she's got her own show.
So what are your thoughts on her glow up? Just like obviously the fucking queen of 2020 and pandemic lockdown.
It's spread her wings and fly. Yeah,
she's so funny. She's like hilarious. She's so smart. I truly can't wait to see what
big fits too. Big fits.
And she would just wear them like she would just like pull off great fits just at the office. Just like
it's natural for her, right? It's just
she's just so stylish.
Yeah.
Pink, like tracksuit, like baggy pink tracksuit that you're just like, you're killing it. Incredible. Yeah, she's so great, so funny, and like.
Let's stop talking about this woman and her fashion. Let's talk about her brain. What's up with her show?
She wrote the Green Book sketch that was in the first episode of the Showtime show, which is so funny.
Classic.
Her show is going to be awesome. Because she does so many things. Like her interviews from the Instagram show were amazing.
Yeah, did you ever sacrifice yourself upon that altar and go on her IG live?
I went on when it was a YouTube show.
Okay, I watched that. It was so good.
Did you perform better or worse than Caroline Calloway?
I did. I will not to pat my own back. I think I came up slightly better than
a little better than her.
But also Z-Way worked for you, right? So you had to, I'm sure, greenlight the final cut.
I didn't see it, and I was just like,
"Really?"
Yeah, I was like, "Z-Way, take the wheel."
Who was your favorite Z-Way interview from the pandemic on her IG live show?
Gosh, there were so many times where I was wrapping up, like recording my podcast in here, and I could hear my wife just like going like, "Oh my god!" like watching in the next room on Z-Way's show. I thought the Instagram live ones were really great. Alyssa Milano was really wild. I thought that the Allison Roman one I felt like was really interesting because I thought Allison like really tried to engage in a way that like Caroline Calloway like capsized the ship. Sure. You know what I mean? Like she was like, I'm not playing by your rules. I'm just going to be a zany influencer person.
I'm an insane person.
Yeah. But when people really like seriously engage with Z-Way. It's like, and really like reckon with the questions. I think it's so compelling.
Yeah. Well, look, she's obviously flown the coop and launching her own shit, which kind of leads us to ask, as you know, privileged, mostly white men, how come we don't have a talk show?
Yeah.
And how do we get one? How do we get one?
How do you go about that? What's the deal?
I feel like I think we're doing it.
No,
This is the show?
No,
I mean,
this is as good as it gets?
no.
Okay,
no.
cool.
That's not what I mean.
oh God.
This is, honestly, dude, things are bad for Jimmy and Larry right now. That's why we're doing this.
I have a break in case emergency seppuku back there, seppuku sword, from my Japanese ancestors. So thank God this isn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. This isn't it. I just mean, I think you're crushing it and on the path towards even bigger things to crush.
Well, it feels like a pep talk. We'll talk later about, starting the Throwing Fit show. Josh, I want to move on to I want to end talking about Jimmy and Larry and move on to the second topic of this podcast, which is money, right?
Ka-ching.
Makes the world go round. Salary transparency, so crucial in today's world, especially for young creatives that, need to know their worth, be inspired that like, you're not going to starve necessarily if you go into the arts. So my question for you, good sir, how much money do you make?
I make enough money that I can afford anything that I need to buy as long as I don't buy anything expensive.
Okay. So you're doing okay.
I'm doing fine. I feel I'm very lucky. I've worked throughout the whole pandemic and I feel like I was talking with my wife about this with the position we're in financially. There's no amount of takeout that we can order that is going to ruin our lives. Does that make sense? But it's
financially speaking, health wise, you never know.
Sounds like a challenge though. No,
I'm already dashed against the rocks physically.
Right.
This boat has run aground, but what
the SS Caroline Calloway, it's capsizing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's like,
all aboard.
Caroline Cake Pop.
Yeah.
But like, if we were like, let's buy a house, we'd be like, oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Might have to cut back on the takeout there.
On the takeout,
How much money would you like to make? Because like this is,
everyone's got a number.
Not everyone wants to be like, oh, I want to make $1 billion. And then some people are like, I'm happy where I'm at. But then other people have like a cruising altitude that once they reach it, they're like, I could live very nicely on this.
I think I could get to that point. I think like I've been doing fine. I think just maintaining where I am now, but for a period of time. That's what worries me is like the volatility of entertainment and like
telling us.
I feel like
month to month.
I feel like as soon as I'm like, okay, let's put a down payment on an apartment, I'll get a call from my agent that's like, yeah, they canceled all TV.
Yeah, TV's
all
done.
of it. Yeah, it's over.
It's over.
It's all those planetarium laser light shows now.
Yeah, that's the new shit now.
It's all podcast now.
Yeah, I mean, that would also be fine for Josh though. But yeah,
true. Josh, I guess like besides StockX and Gap, what do you like to spend? Takeout. What do you like to spend your money on typically?
I love to go see live shows, like see concerts and stuff, which is, out of commission. The worst. I remember my wife is a big Lorde fan and she was touring. She had Mitski and Run the Jewels open for her at Barclays. And I was
what a duo.
It was wild. It was just like
Big Bill.
Such a great lineup. And Mitski was playing with like a small band and I walked in, it was like a 7:00, maybe 6:30 door, 7:00 show. And I was like, but that'll mean 7:15. And I walked in at 7:04 and she was already just like pummeling the guitar. And I was like, this is great. But I remember this was like the first show that we went to, like big. I hadn't been to a big arena show in a while. And I was like looking at tickets and I was like, okay, $40. We can get like near the front of the balcony. And then I was like, wait a minute, for $80, we can sit on the floor in like the 20th row. I have $80. Like it hadn't occurred to me. This is probably 2 years ago. And so I'd worked in television for like 5 years and I had, I had some savings, but it had never occurred to me to like do it nicer. Except for that it was for her. Like if it was just me, I'd be like, I'll go in the back row and I'll get an oxygen tank. And
you're like, oh, the check from that little St. James ad just hit. I can finally I can get on the floor.
Let's splurge, honey. We're going out.
I'll let the merch guy punch me in the stomach for a t-shirt.
Who's the first act you want to see when we get out of here?
Yeah, when things open up.
Oh man,
is it Billy Joel?
I would for sure. Like I feel like
we got Rage Against the Machine concert tickets, and that shit was canceled. That's our first show that we're going to.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be so fun.
Rage.
By the way, Billy starts, like, if it says doors at 7, Billy starts at 7:01. I have friends that showed up at 7:15 and he was like halfway through his set. He's got to get back home and fucking pop some Chardonnay.
The trains, yeah. He's got to crash into somebody's house, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, those days are over. Now the only thing he crashes are fucking people's excitement going through the roof.
Nice.
Are you trying to do a infomercial for Billy Joel? You know that after.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that's like the like before Billy Joel, like, oh, I don't even know what a piano man is. After Billy Joel, I'm drunk at a bar 9 o'clock on a Saturday, throwing my life away.
Bottle red, bottle white. Who are you trying to see when we get the fuck out of here?
I am the one that I miss is every year when the Hold Steady plays at Brooklyn Bowl. I try to go see them unless I'm on the road doing stand up, and they're awesome. And they play like 4 nights at Brooklyn Bowl, and I'm like excited for that next year. I'm trying to think of what
that's else. Like the Super Bowl for white guys in Brooklyn.
If you have my hairline,
that's Coachella for white guys in Brooklyn.
If you have my hairline and live in Brooklyn, you were at that show.
That's what you tell your hair. That's what I'm telling my hairline. Hold steady. Just
hold steady, man.
Nice.
Hang in there, buddy.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Let's talk
about see Billy Joel.
Let's talk about
but I'm gonna buy tickets to anything. Like that's what's gonna happen. Like the first thing
you don't care. Yeah.
That's
you just want to go.
I just want to go. I miss that. I don't even know. There's like enough stuff that I did that I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to reschedule that I had tickets for.
Well, it should be something good because you might catch COVID. And so you want to make sure at least it's Rage Against the Machine.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. Josh, our friend Lawrence here. Sorry. Third final topic, meats and cheeks, formerly known as daddy.
Yeah, sucking and fucking, sex and dating, all the shit that makes the world go round.
My good friend Lawrence here. He's married. We're not sure for how long. We don't remember if it's 1 year or 2. We're not great with time. Or
wait, do you mean so far, or like how long you have?
It's been 2 years. This had come up on the pod, and
got it. Has it been 2 years?
I stumbled and fumbled and bumbled a bit more than I would like. Luckily, my wife has no interest in listening. So.
We don't know how many Thanksgivings he's spent with his wife as a married couple. That's what it was.
Oh, that's what I was. Well, anyway, I've been married for 2 years, so I would love some advice, Josh.
Yeah, what's your marriage advice for Larry?
Married listeners?
Marry Larry.
That's what they call me.
Yikes.
It's a bad name. It's very uncreative. That or Oscar the Grouch. So I'm not really working with a lot.
I guess Married Larry.
It's better than Horny Jimmy, I'll tell you that.
Oscar the Married Grouch.
Horny Jimmy.
Yeah.
Married Larry and Horny Jimmy. That's a rough scene.
It's the duality of man, baby. It's the yin and the yang.
It's a morning radio show from the 90s.
It's the suck and the fuck, you know?
Welcome back to Married Larry and Horny Jimmy. In the morning. Bad to the boner.
Yeah.
The whole police department turns up the volume all the way.
Yeah.
It's a montage of cops getting ready to go break up a protest.
I think oh, that's brutal. It's just like, oh, married. You're all chanting.
Don't put that demon on me.
It's not brutal. It's not brutal, Josh. It's police brutality.
Yeah. Police brutal.
Yeah.
Marriage advice.
Yes.
I would say,
besides, don't be a cop.
Don't be a cop. I would say find someone, like, don't marry a person you think you should marry. Marry the person that you like interlock well with.
Okay, well, I'm already married, so
for you. Sorry. I thought.
Yeah, what do you think we're talking? What do you think anyone is listening to this shit? It's a phone call, dog.
I'm only been married 4 years.
Okay, double Marry Larry.
Yeah, come on, dude.
They call me the double Married Larry. That is my nickname. Most people don't know what it means, but it is good.
Super niche.
It's that DML.
Right. So you have twice. You have twice the time on me. So you're a vet, at least in comparison to me.
Yeah, I think considering yourselves a team for and against everything is like a really great way to approach being married.
Right? Us against the world, dude.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Or even like for things like, hey, we're doing this together and it's going to be awesome. Or like, oh, we're this stinks, but we both have to do it and we're going to like, be there for each other.
Lawrence, what's
family function?
Lawrence, what's the one thing that your wife really loves that you hate the most?
Probably like relaxing. Where something, meaning like relaxing outdoors where she could like read. And then I'm just very restless because I have severe ADHD. So I'm not good at like sitting still. So for me, I want to be moving. I want to be cruising. I want to be, doing some stuff. So
and what do you love that she hates the most? This podcast?
Podcasting, dude. Just, I tried to get her to start a podcast with me, but she's not. No, I'm kidding.
She's not. Yikes.
Okay, so really, team sport. Marriage is a team sport, and that's great advice. And I agree 100% with you, Josh.
Right? I think that's so helpful because it's like you're doing it forever, ideally, right? So it's like, well, why put ourselves in an opposition? Like, let's figure out how to make this team work together.
You got to be the James Harden and Kevin Durant in the marriage.
I feel like this could also apply to you two.
No, we need to have our tension. We need to have our tension. We need to butt heads. We need to,
Hey, dude, people love it when we just argue. That's what they pay for. They want the fucking.
We need bits. We need bits.
Mary and horny James at odds with one another.
People want the sexual tension. They don't want us to actually fuck. But
but Chuck, thank you for jumping in because that is a perfect segue into our next segment where we're going to let Chuck actually unmute himself and speak at length in this segment we call 30 Seconds of Thirst, where Chuck has the open mic. He can pitch you on anything, ask you anything, propose you on anything. Chuck, go off, buddy.
Josh, you're a very funny person, but sometimes shit isn't always funny, like 2020 in general. Shit's sad sometimes. So I was wondering, what do you do when you have like a writer's block or like a creative block? Like what inspires you to like push through it and think of all the funny shit that you think about?
Oh, that's a really great question. I think like trying to like enjoying something really helps me. Like, if I'm on assignment, that's one thing. Like if I have a script that's due at the end of the day or like a freelance piece, but I think normally it's like, if I'm just in a slump, I'll try to go see music like I talked about, or like watch a great movie, or, like make some time to hang out with my wife and just be like, oh, let's go. I mean, this is all shit that like most of the shit is like, you can't do it now, but it's like, oh, let's go visit friends and I'll take a night off and just like recharge my brain and enjoy things and like get into that headspace where I feel good about stuff.
Like live some life.
Live Moss. You live Moss.
Yes, thank you. That's that's what the tagline for the ad I did for Little St. James Island is.
Right, live Moss.
You're a Live Moss hole.
Yeah,
that's right. I speak a little Spanish and I grew up in Boston. But yeah, I think, and not just like for the sake of generating material about living life, but just for like, oh, you're right. Like I'm a better writer and comedian when all I'm doing isn't writing comedy.
Yeah. Recharge.
Yeah.
All right. Josh.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Josh, I want to play a little game with you. Last John, next John. We want to know what was the last John you copped at full retail, and then what's the next John you got your eye on that you're going to cop up sometime soon.
Okay. Last John was, I'm trying to think. I bought the Pharrell, what's the name of it? The Pharrell Human Made Adidas Tokyo Solar shoes that just dropped. They're like they're like Boost, like bright orange Boost soles. I like a real bright sneaker. That's like I'm into
stupid
that.
Fruity swag. Yeah.
That's thank you.
We've established that. Yes, that's what we call it in the biz. By the way,
yes, a stupid fruity swag. That's my taste.
Coined by famous fashion designer Soulja Boy.
Soldier,
Gucci bandana,
electronics entrepreneur.
Yeah,
yeah. Speaking of fucking Renaissance man,
he had his video game system.
Yes. His console, I don't think ever delivered or panned out in any sense.
He had a hoverboard. He had a Soulja Boy hoverboard.
Yeah,
I think he had AirPods. Soulja Boy.
He's all over emerging technologies. That's like a big part of.
He's the Elon Musk of swag.
Research and development. He takes it very seriously.
When our consciousnesses are all uploaded to kind of the cloud network,
singularity.
Yeah,
the Souljularity. Yeah.
Yes. Oh shit.
Damn, he's a professional.
I want my brain in the Soulja Boy cloud.
Yeah, dude.
Just stupid fruity vape smoke.
Soulja Boy, tell him. No, they already know because we're one consciousness.
Wow.
Literal galaxy brain. All right,
So
and what's the next,
and the
John?
next-
Yeah,
okay.
so we got the Pharrells, we got the orange boost joints on ice, or I guess you're wearing those. Or have you worn them?
Haven't yet. I'm saving
Okay.
for an early season show day.
Real quick, before we get into the next, John, did you get free shit, Josh? Are you on any flow teams? Are you there yet? Because you have like a pretty
Occasionally.
solid. Okay. And what does that take? Do you like begging, or how does that work? You got plugs?
A couple times, it's like a couple times I've had a plug. I've got a couple things through like the Boston connection and having tweeted about it. Just like I got hooked up with like one of the like a year ago or so, like a capsule that Bodega was doing.
Oh, nice. So
yeah,
like,
from
yeah,
Boston.
Bodega and then Concepts. Like Boston, the Boston sneaker community has embraced you as one of its own. Is what
The
you're saying.
the folks at Bodega have been really nice.
Shout out Bodega.
I really appreciate it. And I like the concept stuff too. Like I've bought some stuff from them, but not gotten hooked up. And Dunkin' Donuts has hooked me up a little bit.
They did shoes with Saucony, right?
I got the Sauconys.
Okay, you got those.
Fire.
Yeah, the most recent one. So it was like 2 years ago now.
You and like every dude at Barstool.
I got him. Yeah, my friend was working with Saucony on it, and she hooked me up, which was
Got
really,
it. So
was
that's
really
that's
nice.
where the plug. That's the
Yeah,
plug.
I had the plug there.
Shout out the plug. And then what's the next, John, that you're gonna buy?
The
Not
next-
plugged.
Okay, this one is I'm like I'm a little okay. I got another. I mean, this is just real herb powers, but I just ordered a pair of Gap jean corduroys, but I'm trying to bring corduroy back.
You and
For
Wes
myself.
Anderson.
Thank you.
Hord's back, baby.
Yeah, cord
Oh.
is poor man's velvet or whatever the fuck, right? It's like literally
Just get a wide whale. Just get a
Yeah.
wide whale. That's all.
The
widest
stuff I'm-
whale.
my Moby Dick.
Yeah.
My wide whale. The other shoes that's like resale, so it's like twice the retail price, and I've been agonizing over it for like 6 months, are the Sean Wotherspoon Asics Atmos.
Oh, that's where the cord.
Corduroy.
I was wondering where
Yeah,
we were
that's what
going
I've
with the
been
Gap
thinking
cords.
about.
You want that corduroy shoe? Yeah, those are super expensive.
Yeah,
At least in terms of shoes that look like they were made for babies, those are as expensive as it gets for sure.
but that is like I feel
That's
like
what he fucks with.
they call me toddler foot.
You learned that learn from the best at Little St. James, dude. You're like, these sexy toddlers have a lot of personal style.
Wow, these TikTokers in the 90s just with their beanie babies and pogs.
So the Wotherspoon 97s, those are damn, dude.
Well,
You're gonna need to-
the Nike ones are like so expensive.
yeah, is that okay?
The 97 ones. These are the Asics. that he did.
Oh,
He did
yeah,
the Asics corduroy
the
too.
Atmos Japan joints.
Yes.
Yeah, that was those are
And those
those are pretty cheap now, or cheaper relative.
much cheaper than the 97 ones, which like I feel like so many people got them. Like that was the last super hype shoe that I remember, like people I know just like being able to cop from.
Oh, really?
from sneakers
Okay.
Or whatever.
It was like more of like a deep cut, if you know, so there was less hype around it, probably
feel
because
like-
it was, even though Asics is cool, it's not, I get it's
Oh,
not
sorry.
like a Nike.
I mean
thing.
the Nikes. I felt like a few years ago, I know people that just like got them, and I was like,
Really?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
That's a good investment then, because that shit is pretty brave. It's like Bitcoin for your feet.
yeah.
Are you the same size?
exactly what it
Are you the same size as Jesus or Mero?
I think a little smaller foot. I think either Jesus or Mero I could like swap with some silhouettes, but not
Be honest with us. And I don't know if you know this because I know you guys are still out of the office, but we put Jesus and Mero on the podcast boot flow team, the Throwing Fits DMA collab of the century. Did they put them on the free table or send like a Slack to
They did
all
not.
like, hey, who wants
They did
these?
not give.
Okay.
They did not give them away.
I respect that. I mean, that's that would hurt our feelings. At the same time, I understand letting, the Groms onto flow. It
was also like,
being a benevolent overlord.
It was also like a month before their Timberland collaboration came out, so the timing wasn't ideal.
not great.
Those sold out super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at all.
The brand is brolic, I think
brand
is
is
what
brolic.
they say. Yeah.
Josh, we know that you fuck with stupid fruity swag. We want to know what else you're fucking with in this segment we call Fuck With Not Fuck With.
It's a working title.
Still working on the title. You're a writer. Maybe you can help us out there. We're going to throw some categories at you real quick. You tell us what you're fucking with and then what you're not fucking with.
Okay.
First up, obviously, we've mentioned a bunch of sneakers, but why don't we do a Mount Rushmore of just unranked top 4 sneakers of all time, in your opinion?
And you can be as specific as you want with even like down to the colorway. If anything, that would be preferred for the heads.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Air Max 1, the classic red and white.
Yes, the OG, the Tinker Hatfield, that like, red and gray and white.
Yep, red and gray and white. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go, I mean, in my life, I haven't worn them in a little while, but the Saucony Jazz,
that's a deep cut. What you know, honestly, we've done a ton of these sneaker Mount Rushmores. I'm not sure that the Saucony Jazz has ever been mentioned, but that is a classic, iconic sneaker.
I mean, you know what they say about Saucony Jazz? It's the sneakers they don't wear.
So many sneakerheads are like that.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that don't wear Saucony Jazz.
Yeah. That's the beauty right there.
All right. So that you're halfway through. Who's your Abe and who's your Teddy?
Oh gosh. I'm going to go, you know what? I got these are like the most comfortable pair of shoes I ever wore, and I wore them into the ground, were the Adidas NMD, like a black, I think it was like a glitch camo with the red, white, and blue 3 stripes down the sides.
The NMD was so popular. That was everywhere.
So I left Complex under kind of like not the most amicable breakup.
Auspicious circumstances.
And someone was like, yo, there's a bag for you here from Adidas. And I was like, I don't fucking care. And they're like, no, you want what's in this bag. I was like, what is it? And they're like, it's that pair. And they're like, they're going at Stadium Goods. Actually, I sold it for Stadium Goods. This is pre-stock X for like $2,000. I was like, fuck yes. So I like ran in there after hours, didn't say what up to anyone, said what up to Russ, grabbed him, got out, cashed out.
Flipped a brick, dude.
Yeah. They're so comfortable. They had like that moment.
That boost soul.
And speaking of shoes for babies, they look like they have little Legos on them. You know, it's super cute.
I like the prime knit ones. You hated them, you're saying?
I think at the time I was probably like, and this just shows you.
You can catch a photo of Lawrence in them at some point, I'm sure.
No, I would have been the guy that was like, nice NMDs. You see, check out my Yeezys. I'm so fucking cool. But like, you know, feel very stupid now about a lot of things. That being one statement that definitely left my lips. But
I like the NMDs still. I feel like I wish, because what it felt like what happened was they had that moment and then they oversaturated and they just like retired the silhouette for a while.
Yeah, that's right. They just literally took it off. I bet you that'll be re-released to like great fanfare. But they had to take them out the game. Like Stan Smiths too. Same thing.
Oh yeah. I love
pull them and then you release them like a deluge and then you make a lot of money.
I also, this might be my 4th sneaker, a knit Stan Smith. Like
those were good. I remember those when those
they
dropped,
did like a gray kind of woolly one that I had and also wore those out really fast. And then I have the Pharrell Holy ones that are like purple and blue with like a beige outsole. And I love those because I like the Stan Smith. I love the look of it, but I find the like leather ones kind of feel too bulky even.
Sure.
Like it just feels like
the prime knit is way more sleek for sure. That was a great shoe when it came out. It was definitely an improvement on a classic. Here's a question. Checks or over stripes or no? Where do you stand in the real culture war? Nike versus Adidas.
I think I probably have more Nikes, but I wear my like the Adidas that I have, even if it's like 2/3 Nike, 1/3 Adidas overall, and a couple of Reeboks.
Sure.
I think I wear the Adidas day to day more.
Diplomatic answer. You never know what potential future plugs might be listening. Well done, sir.
What do you think about? Okay, let's move into not fuck with. And this is my question. Do you not fuck with? Because obviously it's like a lot of Nike, Adidas, basketball, lifestyle. But what about like fashion sneakers? Any interest there?
The ones that I'm always like drawn to, it's just the money is it starts off so high where I'm just like, I can't justify it unless if I sold the TV show, this is what I've said to my wife. If I sold a TV show, the ones that I always kind of come back to are the Margiela paint splatter.
The cum joints?
The paint splattered cats, like the iconic German, not the cum sneakers, but the German army trainers that were
not the human paint.
That looked like Jackson Pollock busted on them.
It's like they don't usually say this, but Josh, it's like get your funny up so you can get your money up.
Ooh,
I like that. That's good, and honestly, it's motivating me. But like,
I think Bar Brown used to say that, except he would say, "Get your money up, not your funny up."
There you go.
But you have to do both.
Yeah.
I've got to do both.
They're
I'm
entwined.
definitely not getting my money up if I don't get my funny up.
Right.
I've got no other skills at this point.
So those are the ones, but everything else is just like it's just not doable.
I like it. Like it just doesn't. It feels like such a reach just for like brand clout and status and luxury. Like
yeah.
Yeah, bro. Welcome to the fashion industry.
I know, right? But it's like the common projects, low tops, I think are really clean and nice. But if
don't do it
at $400, I don't even think they're like. I've heard they're like not even that comfortable.
No,
it's like, what am I spending $400 to like feel like I'm wearing
for some gold, gold numbers, you know?
And it's
to look like a tech bro salesman.
I know, and it's like there's like a level of if you know that's like cool and feels like an like a cool handshake, like an insider thing. And then there's a level where you're like I have one pair of Yeezys, and when I wear them, people who don't know sneakers are like, you're wearing slippers, you look like a clown. And people who do know sneakers are like, oh, I see what you're doing there. And it's like,
you look like a clown.
You look like a clown.
Yes, exactly. But they know why.
Right. They get it. But they too graduated from clown college. They understand.
Yes. Yeah. We all went to clown college together.
Oh yeah. I know that guy from clown college.
Yeah. Proud alum of Bozo University.
Yeah.
We were in a fraternity together.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, are there sneakers? So
he would squirt beer out of his flower into my mouth.
Yeah.
You're such a positive guy. Famously, like, are there sneakers that you are like that you not take umbrage with, but that you would never wear that you think are like corny or played out, or do you not even think about that because you're such a radiant light of hope?
It's not corny or played out, but I feel like there's stuff that's like been in the culture longer than I have, and then I don't feel like I have a great claim to. Like I feel like
so you wouldn't wear it because you don't feel like you get it. You wouldn't you don't wear things because you maybe don't understand them yet. You would never be like, oh, that sucks.
I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be like that sucks. But like
you're so respectful to
when
the culture.
when the bread Jordan 11s came out, and it was like people were really into them, and I felt like you probably could have gotten them at retail, but it's also like people really were into those, and like those were shoes that had meant a lot to people for a long time, and I just like didn't have the same like long-term appreciation for it. And so I was like,
no, man, I want the Larry Bird 11s.
Yeah, right. Give me the Converse weapons.
I do have the fucking McHale. Nike reissued them like 86 or 85 McHale Converse, and I like bought those. They're the least comfortable shoes I've ever put on. Like it's
begging you to roll your ankle or some shit.
It's wild to think that people used to play in like Converse All-Stars, but at least those you can like put on. These feel like trying to wedge your foot through the hole in a cinder block.
Not function with the form in that case.
But that's like what I don't. It's not like an issue of like I don't like this. It's just like, oh, this is such a thing that I don't want to like lay claim to that like moment in culture.
There's no sentimental or historical or personal connection with it.
Yeah.
So it's just not like you're not dying
to
cop just because other people are dying to cop it.
Yeah.
Right. Josh, you're TV's man. I want to know, what TV shows are you fucking with right now? You're obviously doing your Seinfeld rewatch. Let's talk about current TV, either like recently on the air or available to stream right now or coming out in 2021. Besides Jesus and Meryl season 3, which obviously everyone's gonna be watching, what TV shows right now or in the near future are you fucking with?
Search Party.
I need to get in. I've been meaning to get into that. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah,
it's all on HBO now, right?
All on HBO Max. Yeah, it rules.
It's like fuck.
It's so funny. It's so dark. Season 3 is like one of my favorite seasons of any TV show ever.
Yeah. That's such an underrated show. That was
underrated.
What was it on when it was
TBS?
TBS. Yeah.
And it was like, which is not where you go for like a dark.
No, I mean, characters aren't even welcome there. You need to go to USA for that. So yeah it's tough.
TBS, they're still looking for a while. Those characters get the fuck out of my face. If I see a character in here, I'll slap them till you bleed.
So Search Party on HBO Max streaming right now.
Max. Black Monday on Showtime.
Oh, that show's sick.
Seriously underrated.
There's just some good deep cuts. Everyone.
That was the guy that created Happy Endings. One of my top 10 TV shows of all time did that show, and Penny's in it, and like the fucking snappy dialogue is very Happy Endings-esque.
Yeah, it's great. I think that's like my zone is like, I've really been into like super like hard comedy that's not super dark, but like comedy. It's like hard jokes, but like good plotting. Like those two. What we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows. My best show of 2020, along with Industry.
Oh yeah, I've seen a little bit of Industry. My wife has been watching it like while I've been in the other room doing work.
Did you catch the scene where the guy eats his own cum off of a mirror? Okay,
spoiler alert.
I've heard about
that. Ask
like,
Mrs. Gondelman about that joint.
That's the cultural footprint of the show.
Oh, for sure.
That's just British culture. They just slurp their own jizz.
That's completely. Let's respect our brethren.
Is it Toad in a hole? Is that what Toad in a hole is?
Yeah, it's
sounds like it probably is.
Bangers and jizz.
Yeah.
What else?
Those I'm trying to think of what else we did. Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah,
that's Larry shit.
I love it.
It's
so
you,
of
good.
course, for you, because as just like again a radiant, beam of sunshine. That's got you written all over it. I love that show. It made me feel good.
It's such a,
which is probably like the best fucking compliment I could give, right?
It felt so good to watch. It's so funny.
It's
like
very
it wasn't
funny.
Just like, oh, this is like a positive, heartwarming thing. Like it is that.
Oh no, it's hilarious too.
Yeah, loud. Yeah, it's just great. And I'm trying to think but that's like my zone of. I think like on TV the last 5 years are like the real fast, sharp, like kind of comedies that do like those 10 episode seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes they'll get too like the dramedies get a little too dark for me sometimes to just like watching a show that like makes me feel nervous and anxious. Like Search Party is like my kind of limit on that for a comedy.
Gotcha.
Like, okay, that's how dark I can go with it.
Are there any shows that you're not fucking with?
Yeah, that are maybe that
put
are
on blast
popular
right now.
Yeah, that maybe had a big 2020 that like were widely watched or talked about that you were like, this is garbage.
I'm trying to think. We watched nothing that was garbage. I felt slightly overrated. It came up earlier, but I felt like when the Queen's Gambit came out,
thank you.
People talked about it like it was a masterpiece.
Sure.
And I watched it and was like, it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. And it's like a cool world that they're living in, this like competitive chess world. But then we watched after that, The Flight Attendant. And I was like, this is a way better alcoholic woman.
You think so? I mean,
I liked it.
The shit where she's in like prisoned in her mind with that guy, lose all of that. That was absolutely fucking minor league bullshit. I feel like this is someone else's joke. It might be Ted Alexandro, who's great. That's who I've heard it attributed to. But when someone describes a dream to you, they're saying like, hey, you know, it didn't happen. And like, that's like a dream on a show that's already fiction. I'm just like, I so rarely need it. Grow up, Peter Pan. Get that bullshit out of here.
All right, well, watch everything that Josh just mentioned in the fucker section, but everything else, get the fuck out the paint. Josh, before we let you go and move into the afters, which is the special bonus content for our best friends behind the paywall. Look, you're doing amazing, sweetie, right? You got the podcast. You are a published author.
You're eating takeout every single night. You have
50 pairs of sneakers, vanilla cream, Hal Seltzer, guzzling it down like a goddamn king. We always want to see you do a little bit better, right? We want to see you get your funny up so you can get your money up so that you can get your hands on a pair of Jackson Pollock jizz sneakers. So Lawrence and I, we're going to offer you up some constructive criticism. It's really meant to help you, break through and level up. Take it or leave it. We highly suggest you take all of it. I mean, we kind of joked about this, but why don't you executive produce the Throwing Fits show? We will let you be the solo executive producer. None of this co-EP bullshit.
All right, let's do
all
it.
yours.
Okay. Can you produce it?
I think. I mean, I don't know if we can get on TV, but we'll try.
You're willing to give it the old college try.
Yeah. The old clown college try.
The clown college try is when you see how many people you can fit into one VW Beetle.
Hey, I'd watch it.
Josh, you are a prolific tweeter.
Yeah.
Do you know how many tweets you've sent in your history on the website?
So many. It's a humiliating number.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was trying to get to. It's fucking pathetic. It's humiliating. You're wasting your time. We, Throwing Fits, used to have a kind of, I would say, sniper on the squad who would every so often hop in and tweet some fire for us. That person may or may not be on the Zoom. That person may or may not have spent 30 seconds pretending to be engaged by asking you a question and not tweeting. And right now, there's a bit of a vacancy on the roster for a killer to come in and fucking tweet on behalf of the show. And I think that should be you. Put some of your efforts, into what we're doing, out of the goodness of your heart, because you're such a kind guy, and let us kind of reap the benefits.
Sure.
Okay.
I do feel
hop in the drafts, dude. Go crazy.
Let's do it. I do feel like most of your constructive criticism is asking me to do jobs for your show.
Oh,
no, that just
feel that way, but it's
just 50%, just 50% so far. Right. Well, 100% so far, but 50% of the total. Okay. Have you ever had old tweets come back to haunt you? Which is a modern day phenomenon.
Yeah.
Have you deleted tweets? Do you delete tweets?
I do delete tweets. Because I feel like
just ones with racial slurs and shit, right?
Not like racial slurs, but like I've said stuff.
You leave those up
10 years.
Yeah. those are. I'm so proud of those. Those are rock.
Those do numbers.
It's called Boston Solidarity.
Yeah.
The thin Boston cream line.
Yeah.
I will try. Like if I remember something that was like, oh man, that's a bummer. I don't think there's any. I think that's the thing to do, is to be like, you know what? No, let's get rid of this. Let's expunge it from that record.
Well, all right, Josh, my next piece of constructive criticism. You're such a nice guy, but I can see that you're like a sponge. You're just soaking up this rage. And maybe it's your Boston upbringing where you, by osmosis, took on the Irish philosophy of just squeezing every emotion into a little black box, just stuffing it down into your fucking soul. I can see it, man. You're about to blow a casket. You're about to blow. Just stop repressing your rage.
Yeah, go off. Yeah.
All right.
Would you like to test it out right now? Would you like to try to express a rageful thought?
Be mean to Chuck real quick.
Yeah. Follow my lead.
Chuck, that
was a dumb question. You could say it.
No, that was a good question. That's your the way you frame your head, kind of half in and half out of the frame
every time.
It's I can't move my monitor up or down.
Really?
Maybe I can move the camera.
You move your chair up?
Yeah. What about adjusting the rest of the situation?
This is just I don't know. This is how I feel comfortable.
This is you.
Yeah.
I don't
You're
feel
like the neighbor in Home Alone every week, bro.
Or Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. Sorry.
Home Improvement.
Wilson,
no, that's
whatever the fuck. Yeah. Fuck.
Okay, so you don't like Chuck's framing.
Okay, so that's. Or you do like it? Were you actually giving him a compliment? No. Oh, you don't like it?
No, it was not going to be a compliment. I was going to say, it doesn't fill me with rage, but I was slightly perplexed by it the whole time.
Okay, Josh, please, foot off the gas.
Whoa,
I think he's had enough.
I think you're over the line, buddy.
All right, stop. He's already dead.
Hey, he's still our guy, Josh, and you're our guest.
We might have to cut. We might have to cut that. Jesus Amaro, executive producer, beats up on unsuspecting intern.
Yeah. On
Intern Fights 2.0.
Young POC Make-A-Wish winner.
That's right.
Okay, final piece of constructive criticism, even though seems like you were trying to, if I read this right, before you just raged the fuck out, it seemed like you were criticizing our constructive criticism, which is just, as a guest again, like, check your fucking privilege, dog.
Yep.
Criticismception.
Yeah, but I think that this might fit into your preconceived box of what criticism actually should be. Okay, we've talked a lot about sneakers, right? We've talked a lot about streetwear. Honestly, dude, grow the fuck up. That's come on, bro.
I needed to hear it. I get
34.
36.
You're 36. Yeah. I think I was talking to myself just there. but just, I'm actually speaking into a mirror right now. The audience can't see.
Lawrence, are those not two giant shelves of sneakers behind you?
Hey, kill me. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. I think that's it for that segment.
That's it for constructive criticism. Josh.
And the pod. Really. We're done.
Yeah. Josh, where can the kids follow you on socials?
Yeah. Plug your shit, doggy.
At Josh Gondelman, Gondel man on Twitter and Instagram.
Just followed you. Sorry about that. My bad.
Oh, that's okay. I have a podcast called Make My Day. It's a game show where there's only one contestant or a team of contestants, so the contestant always wins, and they win a $100 donation to a charity every week.